This park has a roller coaster themed entirely to dog farts. I am not kidding you.
Wait!
Yes.
No, hold on! I'm Demi, theme park YouTuber, aka Magical Hijinks.
And I'm entertainment journalist Joey Nolfi, and we've both been diagnosed with terminal theme park obsession, and we're definitely going to spread it to you on the Park Peeps podcast.
We've got years of theme park knowledge, so join us as we serve piping hot takes, park tea, offer the best travel hacks and tips, and chat with guests in the theme park space.
So sit down, buckle in, and pull up on that yellow strap while we dispatch for the Park Peeps podcast.
You guys just don't seem to see us, so that's why we gave you the special bug eyes. Now, go ahead, put them on. Neat, huh? Yeah, now you're all honorary bugs, so on with the show.
Hello, dear listeners. I regret to inform you that we are broadcasting live today from a bit of a pickle, or at least one of us is. We couldn't quite say goodbye to one of our favorite all-time weird attractions, the traumatizing It's Tough to Be a Bug, so we have volunteered to help Animal Kingdom clean it up. Demi, how many bug glasses have you found to steal or to relocate to a museum for preservation?
Well, I started to pick them up because I thought everyone's going to want to see these someday as we take them home. Put them in the museum.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the dang spiders that fall down into the crowd saw me taking some of them and picked me up. And now I am broadcasting from the spider web up in the ceiling of It's Tough to Be a Bug inside the Tree of Life.
Demi, I need to know how. Okay, you know I don't do manual labor, so how are you planning to get yourself down from there so that you can get the glasses into my car to take to the museum?
Well, here's the deal. So this spider clearly does not like me. I'm trying to make friends with the surrounding spiders. Yes. I'm hoping that this one doesn't eat me while I'm here because I feel like I'm being marinated or something, ready to be eaten. But I can't literally get down other than using its own web. I am up here. I got no safety net below me. I'm really in a pickle, as you said, and I'm truly just wanted to pick up some dang glasses to bring home to the museum. To the museum.
Because it appears that my co-host is slightly unavailable due to extreme restraint by animatronic bugs, we will, however, continue with this pod. And Demi, I must unfortunately task you with, in this moment, another task, despite your precarious situation. In fact,
oh my God,
I'm so sorry, Demi. I have a game for you. Okay. Would you like to play a game from up there?
It would help pass the time.
It would, right? It would. I am always here to help, Demi. I cannot help.
You could just get a ladder or some type of help.
But I do kind of like watching you squirm as the blood rushes to your head.
Fine.
It's fun. Because what you are about to hear, Demi, I would like you to take a listen to this archival audio and describe to me what you think you are hearing. Okay? And I want you to paint as vivid of an oral soundscape as you can for our dear listeners, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, please tell me what you think you're hearing here, Demi.
Me after I eat Mexican food.
You know what? I don't want to spoil what this is because it does play a vital role later in our podcast, but I will say you're actually not that far off.
Oh, no.
Yes. Well, Demi, you from the ceiling of It's Tough to Be a Bug, and our audience at home will have to stay waiting in what I hope is deep suspense to find out what it is in our very special episode today, though I can confirm that it fits squarely in with the episode's theme. One of the things that binds us, our affinity for weird theme park stuff, and trust me, this one that I just played for you is very, very, very weird.
Oh my gosh, please don't hurt me. Please, I'm fine. I'm fine chilling here. Please, if you want to, I'm so sorry. I will give you the glasses back.
They're swarming you. They're swarming.
Oh, okay. All right, here you go. There's all your glasses. Can I get down now?
Demi, tell them that they're interfering with historical preservation.
I don't think they know what that means.
They don't know what that means. Well, they are now, unfortunately, also history. So I guess that would be super meta if they knew what historical preservation was, because they're about to become history.
Well, before we lose our minds going down such deep rabbit holes, let's get into our hot takes of the week. And Joey, I understand that yours has you extremely fired up this week, so why don't you go first?
Demi, this is less of a hot take and more of like a flaming hot rage for me. Forgive me. This one is a little bit longer, but your diva, she is worked up. I am massaging my temples right now. I am very much over something that I have been seeing online. I've seen an increasing trend lately that some viral TikToker sent me truly over the edge this last week. Like, anytime I see someone using their phone to film something on a ride that moves faster than 15 miles per hour without express permission from the park or with like a mounted approved camera, it makes me so angry. But the thing that sent me this week, there is a TikToker out there who has been bringing dolls onto rides. Have you seen this? Particularly on Incredicoaster. He does it on Incredicoaster a
Wait,
lot.
yes. I saw him hold an Elphaba doll
Yes,
and,
that
off
one.
of Incredicoaster, and
Yes.
started, and they had Defying Gravity playing.
Yes. And this person appears to, actually, I shouldn't say he. I'm not sure. I want to be respectful. I'm not sure what pronouns this person uses. So they appear to be using one hand to film, their other hand holding the doll. It's usually like a Barbie, but over the side while the coaster is in motion. And Demi, when I tell you, I saw red when I saw this. Like, having your cell phone out on a ride that reaches a top speed of 55 miles per hour is dangerous enough as it is, but holding a doll with pointed little plastic limbs, it's so incredibly careless for your own safety and completely disrespectful to anyone sitting in one of the rows behind you or the people below. At 55 miles per hour, that phone or that doll, they become projectiles. I am not exaggerating. And you can seriously, permanently injure whoever is sitting behind you if that doll or that phone comes loose, flies back, hits them in the face. Someone could lose an eye. Someone could have their face permanently disfigured. If you lose your phone at a height of 108 feet, like Incredicoaster, and it hits someone on the head below, I don't need to tell you what that will do to that person. It is so awful to think about. And the worst thing is these videos with the dolls have gone so viral that I fear more people are going to start doing this with other objects. It is so dangerous. If you're listening to, do not do this. It is so irresponsible, and you should report these social media posts when you see them instead of liking or engaging with them, because it puts so many people at risk. It is so bad.
I mean, like, also, like, I saw it and I didn't think it was that interesting. I swiped away. Like, I don't know why that's going. I didn't know it was going viral. I thought it was like just some one-off thing because it didn't seem that interesting. But also, and I can tell you, as someone who records rides for YouTube, you know, there's rides I will never do unless I have like a GoPro or whatever attached, even like which is like holding a camera or a phone, whatever. But Incredicoaster, you know, it's one of those.
That's not one of them.
It's not a. Well, I'm saying it's not a lap bar. It's over your entire body. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I have small arms because I'm like not even 5'2", but like. I don't know how someone is like with that restraint around your arms, you're able to like hold two things at all.
It's a feat.
I mean, like it's really, you're right. It's scary in the fact that, like, you know, and just in general, but that ride in particular, like that is a lot of cojones to do that. Like really, like I won't do that. I won't do like Rock and Roller Coaster. You know, Space Mountain.
God, no.
You know, in Disney doesn't have like any ride recording restrictions, but they did end up doing one for Space Mountain. You can no longer record on Space Mountain, and like clearly there's been incidences. So listen, I know it's fun to record the rides, and especially if you're creators or whatever. I'm one of you, but like, yeah, just get like a strap, like strap it on, like do it safely, or don't do, if you don't have one, just don't do maybe those fast rides.
Don't hold a doll over the edge that is clearly not secured, and don't hold it over the edge of a ride that is going almost 60 miles per hour, because even if it doesn't injure you, it's going to injure somebody else, and then you're going to feel like crap for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Well,
wow. Yeah. Well, that you definitely came in hot.
I was going to say, Demi, what do you have to follow that up with? You're like, this thing I love so much about the parks this week.
No, I mean, it's hot takes. That's what we're here for.
That's right. That's right.
And I guess, I know we're a theme park podcast, but there is something I just really want to talk about, and I'm going to call it my hot take because I'm going to come in hot about it as well. And it's kind of theme park adjacent because it involves a company that is one of the biggest, theme park companies in the world, and that's Disney. Obviously, we talk a lot about that on here. It's hard not to. They're a major player in our world. And, also as millennials, there's so much that we have been through with this company and specifically their movies. And now we're in this new era of live action movies. And I need to talk about the upcoming live action Lilo and Stitch movie. The trailer dropped recently, and I just want to preface this by saying I am not a fan of the live action movies. The only one that is the exception is 101 Dalmatians because Glenn Close is an icon and truly brought that character to life, and I want them to make a third movie. 2, they used real dogs, and I'm sure if it was made nowadays, they would be CGI like The Lion King. Like, I'm sorry, how was that live action? Whatever, that's another story. But I thought maybe, because even though Stitch would still be CGI, Lilo and Stitch could be something that could be nice as a live action movie. I will like to speak on how, from the trailer, and this is all we have so far, so this could change, how they de-ossified my Pleakly. My Pleakly was changed into a man. Okay, so Pleakly is an alien, works with Jumba, and they're aliens, and they go down to Earth to try to find Stitch. So their whole thing is that they look like Hawaiian tourists, and their disguises aren't very good, and Jumba is like in a Hawaiian Hawaiian shirt, and Pleakly decides to wear a dress and a wig. And in the animated series, once we get there, becomes Aunt Pleakly, so that like the ruse is continued so that they can still live on Earth. So when the trailer dropped and we see these 2 men standing there and then one glitches to show that it was actually Pleakly in disguise, my heart kind of sank. You're ruining the character because Pleakly and Jumba are so funny together because Jumba is the straight man, not the funny person. And Pleakly is the one that's played up for laughs. It's the Abbott and Costello of it all, right? And part of that is just like being a diva. Pleakly is always a diva, like this wig and changing wigs and just like, oh, Jumba, where are you going? Like, like all these, like it's ruining such a great character that it's not just one movie. It was a whole series that a lot of people grew up on, and you're ruining it because you're afraid of backlash. And that's so upsetting because that really means it really was never about being faithful to adaptation, and that's sad. And I'm gonna stop talking about it now, even though I could probably go on for another half hour. Mm-hmm. But it hurts to see that.
Demi, I am so sorry that you are hurting, and I will say that I cannot comment on this development for reasons well known to us and our listeners. But I don't
know if they know.
Actually, that's true.
So, but we'll just say, because there are certain things that Joey is not able to speak on because of things outside of this podcast. So unfortunately, he cannot comment on this inside the podcast.
Correct.
So that's why he was quiet and he's not making a comment.
Correct. But, things that I would love to discuss. Magic and beauty. Demi, they are cornerstones of the theme park industry, are they not? From the architectural marvels of Celestial Park to a Smoky Mountain sunset, framing Dollywood on a summer night. I mean, parks are pinnacles of aesthetic joy around the world. But then you get stuff like Thing 1 and Thing 2, horrifying children of all ages, and the Cat in the Hat ride, aka the figurative depths of hell at Islands of Adventure.
Oh no, he lives. Or you board Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and you are transported to actual hell in Disneyland. All of this falls under the umbrella of a topic of peak interest, weird theme park stuff.
Yes.
And we're going to get into some of our favorite weird theme park things from the past, present, maybe the future too, if we want to kick up that conversation about Milkfish at Epic Universe once again.
Milkfish. Now it has evolved again. Now it is Milkfish.
I keep calling it Milkfish. I think it's so funnier as Milkfish. Fish milk, but I think
it's interchangeable. Who are we to define what it is? We have learned that we cannot define what it is up to this point. So you know what?
Lemongrass broth.
Fish milk, milkfish, it's whatever it wants to be at this point.
I'm just going to call it Milkfish, and you can call it fish milk.
I am in full support. I'm in full support.
Great.
Full support.
So, Joey, I want to know, in all of your years, I'm sure you've seen some weird theme park things.
All of my years, clock me.
That wasn't meant to be like, oh, you're so old. You're not.
Demi is age shaming me on my very own pod.
You're not at all. I just meant in your life.
Yes. My very short 19 years of life.
Short 19 years of life. What's some things that you have discovered as a weird theme park thing?
So, Demi, I want you to go on a journey with me. Okay, are you ready?
Well, I kind of have to be because I'm still stuck in this web at the top of...
You're still in the web.
It's tough to be a bug.
Yes, so I hope you're ready to go on another journey with me to a little land called Efteling, where there is something called Motorgeit. Yes, I am talking about a goat, not Joe Rody or Mary Blair, but an actual four-legged, hoof-clapping, bad decision sniffing goat, and not just any goat. This is Mother Goat, again, at Efteling, the most hardcore ride or die mom in fairy tale history. She has, at this park, a statue in her honor, and to be quite frank, I think she deserves it more than pretty much all of the animatronics in Hall of Presidents. Deep in the mystic woods of Efteling's fairy tale forest, there is a tiny house where you can watch the Brothers Grimm's Wolf and the Seven Little Goats, and you can watch it play out in real time. The story is Mother Goat, clearly exhausted from parenting seven little teeny tiny morons of her children. She tells her kids, she says, do not open that door while Mama's out. Do not open it. And Demi, what do they do? What do they do? Exactly what every child in a horror movie does. They open the door. And now, a wolf in the worst disguise, essentially Mother Goat drag, which honestly, work, but this wolf tricks them, busts in, swallows 6 of those little kids whole. The 7th kid, the only one with a single lone tiny little brain cell, hides inside a clock. Enter Mother Goat, like that meme of Big Bird bursting down that door. Mama comes home, immediately notices something is off. She tracks down that wolf. And instead of calling the authorities like a responsible citizen, she fully just cuts that man open, rescues her kids. She stuffs his stomach with rocks. And then she sews him back up. The wolf wakes up, stumbles to a well, falls in and drowns. Now, all of this to say, I am bringing this back to a theme park. Mm-hmm. Motorgeit has a statue at Efteling joining their tribute to fairy tales and occasionally traumatizing animatronics. They decided that this story was so legendary that she gets her own monument standing there for you to take a picture with her while she's lugging them baskets. She's got baskets under her arm. She is wearing a floor-length gown. She is ready for the ball. But actually, she's just watching over her 7 little dummies. She stands guard and keeps the Netherlands child mortality rate in check. So in essence, this is not just a statue of a farm animal at a theme park, Demi. This is a monument to unbreakable maternal instincts, extreme revenge tactics, and the sheer power of F around and find out. So the next time someone tries to tell you that some man who plays sports is the goat, just remember that none of them ever sewed rocks into their enemy's stomach and threw them down a damn well. That's Motor Goat at Efteling, my first weird theme park thing.
Wow. You could say that the goat is the goat.
Yes. Which you need to Google pictures of her. She is working it and she is fierce.
I'm like so excited about this. I never heard of this before, but the tale sounds very familiar. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I feel like we have adapted it to Little Red Riding Hood and the grandmother and doing similar things. I love that. Like, yeah, it is about motherhood. She is mother.
She is mother in so many capacities. And like once you see her in her little dress carrying them damn baskets, like she's working it and she's fierce. That's all I have to say about Mother Goat. I don't know how to say it. Motor Goat is
like
how it's
mother.
spelled.
I just got it. It's like Mother Goat.
Modergeite.
She's beautiful.
Did you Google her?
I Googled her right now. We don't tell each other our stuff because we want to genuinely have like reactions with you all. She is truly like holding baskets like a picnic basket.
Yes.
And is like human size with a goat head.
It's
and
terrifying.
In a floor length gown. And she has this look on her face like, oh my God, my kids are dumb. When are they gonna not be dumb? She looks tired. She's a mother. Like, this is the face of a mother. She is exhausted.
She is. She's exhausted. She's exhausted from caring for them kids all day. I'll tell you that much right now.
But this is like, you know, it's a great metaphor. Like, you know, no one's going to be as fierce as a mom.
Especially if it's a mother goat. Now, Demi.
Yeah.
What do you got?
All right. So I almost didn't want to do this because when I experienced what I'm about to tell you, I would say it was the weirdest thing to ever happen in the theme park and a weird thing. It was my first thing that I was like, oh, when we said we were going to do weird theme park things, like I have the best one.
Okay.
I then did some research on it and I think I had a weird experience and maybe it wasn't so weird, but I think I still want to tell the story because I think it's really funny.
Oh, I'm excited.
So back in 2018, I went to Disneyland Paris as part of my honeymoon. And in Disneyland Paris, there's two parks. There's Disneyland and there's Walt Disney Studios Park, which will soon be renamed to Disney Adventure World. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a terrible name. So bad. But Walt Disney Studios Park was basically their version of MGM. And I'm calling it that because it's more of like what MGM was, not definitely. Hollywood Studios. Like Hollywood Studios I love Hollywood Studios, but it's not MGM. It's a different park.
Yeah.
When I went, they still had, you know, the backlot tour. They had Lights, Camera, Motor Show. And they had this attraction that I was so confused by. It's not really a ride. It was like an experience attraction. It was Armageddon, based off every kid's favorite movie, Armageddon. Came out in 1998, starring Bruce Willis. And this ride this experience has now closed. It closed March 31st, 2019. So I literally, and I was there in December 2018. And this closed very quickly after I saw it. So it's starting to all make sense. This attraction opened March 16th, 2002. And you go in and you have like, I'm not even kidding, like almost a 10-minute pre-show. Oh. You go into like this pre-show. There is a little stage and a TV to show you a movie. And then a cast member came up on stage and said, who here speaks French? And everyone who spoke French raised their hands. Who here speaks English? I raised my hand. Other English speakers raised their hands. And then he said, who speaks Spanish? And people raised their hands. And then he was like, well, sorry to the Spanish speakers, we can't help you here. And I was like, what? Like, what? Like, I know we're in an international park, but you're still Disney. What was that? It was so bizarre. I'll never forget that because I've never heard like a Disney cast member talk like that in my life. It was so weird. And just like, why would you even bring it up? Like, it was like clearly like meant to be as like a joke, but it was so bizarre. But what I mostly remember was, and you have to remember, this is December 2018.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're talking about the pre-show is you're going to go and recreate, or like you're going to put an input scene into the Armageddon. You're about to do a scene in this Russian space space station rather. And in comes an actor from the movie to give us our pre-show information, and it's Michael Clark Duncan, who was famously dead at that point. He died in 2012. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 6 years, which doesn't sound like a long time to like maneuver of an attraction, but he was like a big deal. I don't remember if people like remember he was in the Green Mile. He was a very like beloved actor.
Did he get an Oscar nomination for that? I think he was nominated for an Oscar for that.
I mean, I loved him. He was a wonderful actor, and I couldn't believe when he appeared on my screen. And I was looking around like, is no one else like weirded out that Michael Clark Duncan is still talking to me about like what I'm about to do? Okay. And I know it's like nitpicky or whatever, but like it is weird for a Disney park to show a pre-show of like a very famous person who had famously passed away pretty early in his life. So I was kind of distracted by that. And I think that's part of why this whole thing got even weirder for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after like this 10-minute pre-show of just standing there, we walk into this space station and it's like in the round. And I don't know if maybe just the attraction was broken down, but the entire attraction was in French, which like, okay, that's fine because I respect this is Paris. This is France. Like this is for them. I get that. Okay. But I couldn't follow the story. So that's a problem for me. That's a me problem. And I get that.
Were you only speaking Spanish at the time, Demi?
See. But I'm standing there just watching everything happen and nothing's happening really. There's lights happening, like changing lights, and I hear French speakers. It was supposed to be like a recreation of special effects happening in front of you. And I thought really, until I just looked this up. That's why I almost didn't do this but you have to understand from my perspective. I just saw a dead guy. I'm so confused why it's Armageddon. I go in the thing and I'm like looking around. I'm not hearing, like, I don't know what's going on in the story at this point. And truly all I'm seeing is like different light, like cues change. And then in the pre-show.
Sounds great.
I forgot to mention this. In the pre-show, the cast member says, okay, when it gets to this part, everyone needs to do a big scream, like as part of the movie or something. And then he made us practice. And like when like whenever like you make an audience like do a thing they definitely don't want to do, they're just
yeah.
So that was that, right? And then we were in there and like he almost like gave us a cue to do it, and everyone still was just like, and then because I kind of like zoned out for a second because I was so confused. I was like a half a second later, so everyone was like, and I was just like, like I walked out of there thinking, what did I just spend 30, 40 minutes doing?
A whole lot of nothing.
A whole lot of nothing. Why Armageddon? Why Dead Man?
Why anti-Spain?
So I had recently, now that I went to the thing, there was a lot more going on in that attraction that obviously people enjoyed it for. There was pyrotechnics, there was like rain, there was a lot going on. Clearly did
just
not
wasn't
work
working?
for me for when I was, I don't know. I guess that was what was going on. Maybe it was because it was clearly the end of its life. Maybe by then it just nothing was happening. But like that, like imagine knowing nothing about an attraction and then that's what happens.
I mean, listen, Disney famously has several attractions about visiting regions beyond. You see ghosts. Like, this was a sequel to Haunted Mansion in many ways because you saw a ghost. You saw a ghostie at the front of in the pre-show. So, like, yes. Well, yes, I would say this is quite an experience, and I would also probably have the same thought that you had walking in and seeing the sadly deceased person on the screen, and then walking into a room where just lights flash at you. That sounds like Friday Night at the Club to me.
Because truly, you have to understand, for the last 6 years of my life, I truly believed that it took 30, 40 minutes out of my life for nothing to happen.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Talking about it 7 years later.
Yeah.
I love it, Demi. I love it.
I love it too. I hope to go back to Disneyland Paris someday. It's my favorite castle.
Adventure World. Well, we soon, my theory is that Adventure World will soon be, California Adventure is going to be getting that title too, probably.
Really?
I think it'll probably change to, I think they'll probably want to keep the DCA of it. So I if I had to bet, they would turn it, I feel like they'll rename it to like Disney Cinema Adventure or like Disney Cinematic Adventure to keep DCA. But like, yeah, I think Adventure is definitely coming to, because like the California doesn't really make, the only way it makes sense is in the context of like, it is a California Disney adventure.
But that still works because like you have Disneyland Paris, Disney Tokyo Disney. I don't think it's that wrong to keep. And I think
I don't think it's wrong.
Upset.
I don't think it's wrong, but I think that the narrative is a little, I think for the general public, a little confusing just because it's like Disney California Adventure. When you think about it, that name doesn't really make sense to a casual person. So I think I think that from a branding perspective, it's a lot flashier to have like Disney Cinema Adventure, which like, because basically at this point, it's just a shoebox for different IPs. So it's
right. Which is like what Studios is now.
Exactly.
And like, it's really like, how is it really like, it's such a hodgepodge and, you know, but I'm fine with it. Like, I truly, I know people will really hate Studios, but like, I'm fine with it. Like,
I don't hate Studios.
All of my favorite attractions are there. Like, don't hurt my park. Like,
as
I know.
As long as Tower stays.
As Tower stays. Like, I will.
And the lake. And the lake. And the restaurants around it.
I mean, yeah, but also like now that they're taking away my Muppets, if they don't move Miss Piggy to Rock and Roller Coaster, I'm going to find her myself and I'm going to take her home to the museum.
To the museum. Historical preservation. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Demi, something that I wish would have been preserved in a museum. Like I said, the internet is a figurative museum in many ways. Is my next weird thing. Donald Duck's 50th birthday parade in 1984. Aww. Oh, Demi, we all fondly remember Donald Duck's 90th birthday bash in the parks, but let's be real. Nothing compares to the sheer chaos of the Magic Kingdom's 1984 celebration of Donald's 50th. This was not just a birthday party. This was an event, a spectacle, a moment in Disney history that is so wild. I truly would watch a full documentary on its planning, conception, execution, and legacy.
I know nothing about this, so I'm really excited for you to tell me everything.
It's amazing. Demi, it is, the pictures from it are like, let me paint you a picture. Donald got his own parade as he should, complete with balloons, party hats, and, wait for it, 2 tiers of white ducks also wearing party hats. Now, yes.
Like real ducks?
Yes. Real ducks. Like actual live white ducks with the long necks and the yellow beaks. They had a double-decker duck party. It was a poultry fever dream. That is how I would describe it. It was so festive, so amazing. And because Disney in the 80s was operating, I think, at an unhinged level of magic that we can only hope comes back at some time in the future, once the parade wrapped up, the handlers just unleashed the ducks onto the lawn in front of Cinderella Castle. Not for guests to interact with, there was handlers. But the result was like just this glorious madness that exists in these pictures that just have like that 80s kind of washed out looking vibe.
I'm seeing it right now. It's glorious.
Yes.
This is some Michael Eisner stuff right here.
The photos, I would say the best photos I've seen are on some place called Walt Dated World, and that is where I got a lot of the information for this as well. So you should definitely go check out their article on it. But it is just Donald Duck standing there, swarmed by real ducks in party hats. He's like their little like irate little leader, but he's like looks happy because he's with all the little ducks, and I just.
This might be the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Cute, like Donald Duck with like 50 ducks around him. But during the parade, I have to say, the ducks were reportedly safely contained in plexiglass circles, and there was a handler escorting them to ensure their safety and perhaps make sure that none of them tried to riot and steal Donald's crown. But I must repeat, Demi, they all had party hats. They all had party hats on.
I hope that was okay for them. I'm sure it was okay.
They are. The hats are
though it was the 80s.
But the hats are specifically positioned like further back on their heads. They're all, if you look, they're not all like on top of their heads. So I bet that they did take some consideration with that. But
yeah,
there was also like a birthday song for Donald, like Chip and Dale sang in the parade. The lyrics are actually really funny. And again, this is from Walt Dated World, but Chip and Dale apparently said, "He's funny, he's charming, our fine feathered friend. Today's his birthday. Best wishes we send." Goofy said, "He's full of surprises, quacks everyone up." And then Chip and Dale also said, "He's crazy for Daisy. He's our Donald Duck."
Oh my God. If I ever get a chance to go on a time machine, this is the first place I'm going.
Same. My number one spot. But there you have it. The images, everybody needs to look up these images because
we'll post them in our stories too.
Yes, they're so good. I wish I knew where they were, like the original source of the images, probably something Disney staged, but like there's no record of it online, at least other than Walt Dated World, and I have no idea where they got the photos. So it's my, as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is my absolute favorite image of all time.
Definitely. Like, I guess it would still fall under the category of weird, but it's also like the category of like, oh my God,
it's weird as hell. Yeah.
It is weird. They do like sometimes do like duck things with Donald, but like never like this.
To this scale? Absolutely
No. I would love this feels like Michael Eisner brain creativity, something like that, or at least like approval, like taking these fun risks. Oh gosh, I miss that part of Disney.
I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
I like Michael Eisner.
Love Michael Eisner.
I don't care. Love Michael Eisner.
Is that like a hot take to not like? I thought everyone likes Michael Eisner.
Oh, I
think he's the most like beloved CEO of Disney.
Well, then it's not a hot take.
It's not a hot take.
There we go. I love Michael Eisner.
I think AJ in our first episode had the hot take of like she about Bob Chapek.
Like 9 defenses of Bob Chapek.
Because I was in Magic
Kingdom. We weren't
Kingdom.
even talking about him.
I was in Magic Kingdom on the 50th anniversary, and I saw Bob Chapek. He was like doing an interview in the hub, and they had like the tall grass kind of covering him, but you could see him. And he was supposed to speak on the stage in front of the castle, and because he knew so many people hated him, he did not speak.
Well, you know what? As long as AJ Wolf is alive, he's got one fan, and
he's everywhere,
and he's everywhere to her. So shout out to AJ,
AJ.
deep friend of the pod.
AJ Wolf's Park Peeps.
Yes. Now, Demi, what is your second one? Because I still have to reveal to you what the noise was.
Oh yeah. So actually, speaking of AJ Wolf, the image that I am going to post is from Disney Food Blog posted because they caught like the best photo of what I'm about to share with you. And this is a pretty recent thing, but it's something that I think about every day. Every day I have stickers about it. I think about it like it's my Roman Empire, as you know, that trend was going around, because it truly was like the most bizarre thing and such a random choice. And it feels wrong not to talk about it on our weird episode. Do you know what I'm about to say?
I have no idea what you're going to say.
Okay. Let me take you back to 2021.
Oh.
In Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
The Grand Fiesta Tour starring the Three Caballeros in the Mexico Pavilion. So
good thing you didn't say that in the Armageddon pre-show.
Oh, no. I wouldn't have been maybe allowed to sit through it. Oh, my goodness. No way. Speaking Spanish? Bye. What was that? I'll never know. But so we actually have to go back to 2020. So in July of 2020, after the parks reopened, Jose on the ride, at the very end of the ride, like, because it's a ride where you're on a boat and you see the Three Caballeros on the screens. Actually, it just recently had the refurbishment, and it's now not a projector. It's like on like a digital screen, I think. So it looks sharper, it looks better. I haven't ridden it yet since, but it looks nice. So Jose and Panchito are trying to find Donald. And then at the very end, they find him, and they have animatronics of Donald, Jose, and Panchito singing at the very end. And in 2020, all of a sudden, Jose gone. Like, no word from Disney, no replacement, no anything, just gone. It was the 2 caballeros at that point. And all right, and then eventually he came back. Okay, he came back. So it was like, okay, maybe it was a little something, whatever. All right, we're gonna forget about it, right? We would forget about that. So after Jose comes back, Donald Duck himself, and it's funny, we're just talking about him and his 50th birthday.
Yeah.
Gone. The animatronic is gone, just like Jose. Except they decided to not just have no Donald. They didn't put a picture of him. No. They put a plant with a sombrero on top to replace him. Where the day Plant Donald was born. And I'll post the photo in our stories. I do not understand. It's the size of the plant is almost the size of the other caballeros, the other animatronics, with a sombrero. And I don't know who thought this was okay to do. Why they were like, this is, let me just explain something to you.
It was Bob.
This was during the Bob Chapek era. I don't think this was Bob. This is probably way beyond his pay grade. But
interest.
I work in the theater. I work in production. I know what things, like how things work. And this is Disney. Like, you're Disney. People are coming all over the world. And maybe it was because it was still 2020 and they were like, oh, we could probably get away with it, is where the kind of like probably came in. If this would never happen again, this will not happen again, because you're Disney. You have resources at least to like put, eventually I remember they put a cardboard cutout of Donald because he was gone for quite some time, where he came back and then he was gone again. And it was bizarre. And then I think at one point they literally just like took the plant with the with the sombrero off and then just had like another plant with just in the spot. I think about it all the time.
Was there ever a reason why?
I mean, clearly refurbishment, but it's just like, no, like no Disney person has ever commented why.
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah,
why a plant with a sombrero?
I wonder if it's, you know, how sometimes there are, I mean, like I'm thinking of something like the Halloween Horror Nights Monstrous walkthrough that was drawing from certain types of like cultural lore. And it would, like, there would be certain things in there that you would see that maybe would only make sense, or you'd be more informed of why they were happening if there was a certain cultural connection. I wonder if there's like some sort of cultural or local lore that has like somebody transforming into a plant or a cactus or something.
I don't have enough hope that's
my
what
reaching.
That was.
It's just a budget thing.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like some worker that was just like, oh, well, this is like the same size. It's cute. I do remember now. I do remember. So after Plant Donald was gone, then all of the 3 caballeros were gone again, and they were all replaced by the cardboard cutouts.
By Michael Clark Duncan? Oh, no.
Yes, they were all replaced by cardboard cutouts. I just found the photo. Donald was holding maracas, and Panchito and Jose were playing guitars, and they were just like cardboard cutouts, and they were just like stiff cutouts, which like I guess is better than plant. Personally, sure. I don't think so, but like it was just so, it was the most amazing time.
Yeah. A weird time.
There was a weird time, and they leaned into it.
And they did.
Yeah.
And did.
Well,
Demi, thank you for that refresher. I do remember seeing imagery of that, and it just escaped my brain. But thank you for jogging my brain with that. Now, I'm about to jog your brain with something. Let me just point you back to mere moments ago with a little refresher, okay?
Okay.
Let's listen to this one more time, Demi.
Can I make one more guess?
Yes.
Is it the person that had diarrhea on the queue of Guardians of the Galaxy because they took away DAS for people with stomach issues?
No, it is unfortunately not that. I don't know if there is recorded imagery or oral accompaniment of that moment happening. If there was, please let us know, because we would love to. Well, maybe we would not love to see that.
No,
but
I'm all set. Truly.
You're all good. You're good.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? The sound, Demi, that has been haunting you this entire podcast is the Hunderbruten roller coaster at a park in Denmark called BonBon-Land.
Wait, you need to say that one more time for me.
Okay. Hunderbruten. Hunderbruten.
Hunderbruten?
Hunderbruten. Now, I took German in high school. I did not take, what do they speak in Denmark? Danish?
Yes, Danish.
Danish? So I do not speak Danish. But do you have any guesses as to what Hunderbruten translates to?
Hungry hippo?
Close. If you were to have guessed dog fart, you would have been 1,000% correct, because Demi, this park has a roller coaster themed entirely to dog farts. I am not kidding you.
Wait,
yes.
wait,
yes.
wait. No, hold on. Wait, what park is this again, please?
It's called BonBon-Land.
Oh,
I'm going to tell you all about it, Demi.
Right now.
We gotta go. We gotta go. So, the coaster opened in 1993 under the original name of Hunderbrutschebane, which translates to dog fart track. So riders enter the train and ride along its course on the body of a dog, and they pass through several structures before finally traveling behind a giant statue of a dog that has its leg lifted up, and yes, giant fake turds underneath it. This park, BonBon-Land, it opened in 1991, and like a demented version of Hershey Park, it is themed to real Danish candies that are themed to everything from like the aforementioned dog farts to used diapers. The park also has imagery of like ants relieving themselves, seagulls relieving themselves into the mouths of alligators, and there's also a giant statue of like a topless, very large chested cow just fully bearing all in this children's park. So BonBon-Land is wild. This is the dog fart roller coaster, and those were the sounds that you have been treated to throughout this podcast.
This is the greatest thing
That's wild,
that
right?
you have ever given me. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
bringing this into my life.
You're welcome.
I can't believe this.
Yes, it is real. It exists. You looked at the pictures. You see the big dog
I see
lifting
the
its
big
leg?
dog lifting its leg. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My dog just did that about an hour ago. Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, now you know there's a roller coaster dedicated to. There is literally a roller coaster themed to anything you could imagine.
Yeah.
You see the turds, don't you?
I see like a rat taking a shower.
Yep. Oh, that's their water ride. Yeah, it's themed to like rats in like the sewer, like taking baths and like. Oh yeah, it's crazy. But some of these candies too, like they use diaper candies.
What do you mean used? What does that even mean?
It's like a candy that is themed to a used diaper. I don't know. I've never eaten one. This is Denmark. They're apparently just okay with it. And this park is like I said, it's like a demented Hershey Park.
Is it like Birdie Bots, like and meant to be like gross?
I mean, visually yes, but taste wise, no. Taste, I think it's like lemon.
Oh, okay. That I'm fine with like a themed candy, even if it's stupid looking, like or gross. I mean, this dog, like I see the coaster car.
There's fear in that boy's eyes.
There's fear in that boy's eyes. He looks like a dollar store Scooby Doo.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, I mean,
his turds
this is
look like
Scooby if he
literal,
never
like,
met
coal.
Wait, say that again.
His turds look like just coal. Like they're like black.
Oh my gosh. Does he have a name?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh.
He might, but I don't know if they're based on cartoon characters or not. But
I have never wanted to visit a theme park more, I think, in my life.
Well,
and that's saying something because I want to go to a lot of theme parks, but just
Park Peeps Field Trip 2026.
Yeah. I mean, we're laughing about this like it's like a really funny thing, and it is. But like we also have like a slide now in DreamWorks Land and Universal and it farts. Like
yeah.
I mean, that's like baby stuff compared to this. Though.
I know.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is really funny.
I do love that I was actually right. Like
you were half right.
Half right that it was because I truly didn't. It would never cross my mind for that to actually be true.
Why would it?
I was like, oh, well, it sounds like farts and sounds like all that. Couldn't be that. It was probably like a monster truck. I was convinced you were going to tell me like some type of monster truck or like construction truck type ride.
Mm-mm.
This is This is amazing.
There is that one very strange park too. Have you ever seen it? That is all using old construction equipment and it turns them into rides. I think it's in the United States, and I forget what it's called. But there's literally
Diggerland?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go there. It's in Pennsylvania.
Wait, let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna go. Like,
wait. No, really, let's go.
No, for real. I really was. I'm like talking to my cousin. Found it too, and she was like, I was like, oh well, let's take the kids because it's really like for kids. And it's like a kind of a small thing, but it's pretty new. I think it's either new or like it's only been around for a year or two. And I want to go there just to like cover it for the channel and to see what it's about. Because
it's apparently a 5-hour drive from me.
Diggerland, right?
Yeah.
If it's 5 hours from you, it's probably like 4 hours from me.
Oh, it's right outside of Philadelphia.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, it's like 5 hours away from me. Okay, I would have to hit other parks along the way because I've never been to Knoebels. I really want to go to Knoebels.
I'm like so mad at myself that when I went to
Dorney.
Hershey and Dutch Wonderland and the Cartoon Network Hotel last year, which you can all find on my YouTube channel, and especially about the Cartoon Network Hotel. Oh my God, what was that? I didn't realize that Knoebels was really not that much further north, and I should have gone. I'm so mad I didn't. It's only about a 2-hour drive from me, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're closing with a promise of a field trip. We all of this to say.
We didn't even really talk about Diggerland, but now we're gonna have to go and then talk about it.
Exactly. Live episode from Diggerland. Why not?
Oh my God.
Well,
It's amazing.
yeah. What a perfect way to close our weird things episode than with a promise of a trip to a weird thing.
If I ever escape from the clutches of these animatronic spiders, I'm so excited to go.
That's right.
I see one in the distance. Maybe hey,
Oh.
can you just hi, yeah. Thank you. There's a guy down below with a ladder. He's gonna help me since you could not.
Well, I'm glad that he will now be your conduit between this realm and the realm of historical preservation at the museum.
At the museum.
Yes.
Well, I guess then, since he's getting ready to take me down from the ceiling of It's Tough to Be a Bug, future Zootopia,
Better Zoo Gather
inside the Tree of Life, I think, we're sufficiently weirded out from this episode. And I think we're going to say we learned a lot of weird things. And I'd like to get down from
Michael
here.
Clark Duncan.
R.I.P. Michael Clark Duncan. And let's make a plan one day to go on that dog fart ride. Can't wait.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to follow me, Demi, at Magical Hijinks. That's HIJINX on YouTube and everywhere else for my super informative and sometimes weird videos on all the latest theme park happenings, from new foods to travel hacks to the latest on Epic Universe as we get closer to opening. Plus, stay up to date with us at Park Peeps Pod everywhere.
And on the other hand, you could follow all of my unhinged content at Joey Nolfi on all platforms, and make sure to tune in next week because I am so very excited about our next guest. He is one of my close friends and is such a joy in the parks, but you'll have to return back to us to find out who it is next week on the Park Peeps Podcast Historical Preservation Society.
Whew. Oh man, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for helping me get down. The blood was really rushing to my head. The bug glaggles? I was just holding them to put into the
museum, Demi. Museum.
Museum. Here. Run, Joy.
Run, Demi. Run.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.